Everybody clap your hands. Woo-hoo. Get on up and dance. It's Friday and I've got that wonderful Friday feeling again. It is me, your European correspondent, Lady P. It's Lady P. Lady P. Here for y'all. I hope you all have had a wonderful and fab week. So, last week. What was last week? What was bloody last week? So last week was pageant Miss America, which I am not. Yeah, so Miss America, beauty pageant, great. Let's address all other wonderful queens. I actually enjoyed everybody's this week. Portia, girlfriend, I loved you. Oh, look, you were looking fine, honey. And Misty, I just think you're mysterious. You're wonderful. You definitely have been on this earth before because you have got a lot of knowledge going on there. You're like Oprah. You're like a drag queen Oprah. I love you completely. And Katana Ray, girl, that makeup is to die for. You're like butter. Your face is like a stick of butter, honey. And of course, the beautiful little Pedro. Ooh, what can I say about Pedro? He's crazy, he's fun, he's Latino. I love him. So just to fill you in on kind of what I've been up to this week, I've had a very fun and exciting week. I was down in Dublin again, so I'm up and down in Dublin all the time. I did the Dublin bingo show, so that I'm sorry about last week's video. I know that some of the footage wasn't great, just simply because we were backstage and it wasn't wonderful. But I was back down in Dublin again because I'm in an advert, so in drag, in full drag, and I was down filming that all day Thursday. I had a ball. But not only that, so my week was Dublin bingo show. I went down on Saturday. Sunday was the bingo show. Monday I had a couple of meetings in Dublin because I'm the new face of a super club that's opening up down there. It's wild. It's going to be wild. So if you're in Dublin at all, you have to come and see me. I'm there 5 nights a week. I'm signing with him this week. And then then Tuesday I came up and I went up camping. I know, what can you say? I didn't even glamp it, honey, I camped it. But it turns into glamping, of course, if I'm there, because I bring the most wonderful creations that you can think of into a tent. And I went bouldering not for the very first time, but from I was a teenager. So in my adult years, this is my first time going away bouldering. And it was great. I went with my boyfriend and we got these wetsuits and you literally climb up at the side of a mountain, but up the river. So I was climbing up waterfalls, the pressure's going against you, it was amazing. And we kept making out, and every little plunge pool we came to, we swam together and we made out. It was wonderful, I had a ball, I loved it. And then we camped in a tent, and the rain came down, and the rain was horrific. We put up our tent in the rain, and that night was the windiest night and the wettest night on record, but thankfully we were safe and dry. But I literally thought I was going to turn into Dorothy Gale from Kansas, but thankfully I know the trick. Tap your heels together 3 times and you're out of there. You don't have to go down no yellow brick road. I'm wearing the yellow brick road earrings tonight, so I hope you like those. This week's topic is bisexuality. So I always thought that I had an opinion on bisexuality. And then I was chatting to somebody today and they completely flipped my opinion on it. So before I was very staunch and I was like, nah, I don't really like it. It's kind of, if you're bisexual, you're really just on a journey to one sex. But then, and I was very kind of like anti it. And then I took a step back and then I suddenly realized, well, you know, that's exactly what straight people do and say about gay people if they're homophobic. Or if you're racist about something, you can't have this particular person near you. And I suddenly realised that's what I was like towards a member of the community. So it made me really take a step back and think. Now, there are lots of different ways and people class themselves as this and as that. I've had I've known lovely couples who have been together, like say for example, lovely straight girls come out in the gay scene and then they meet a nice lesbian girl and they go out together for a couple of years and then they go their separate ways and a few years later maybe one girl's married and they kind of dabbled a wee bit. Same with guys, they'll maybe at college or at university or they'll maybe be married for a while and they try it and then they go out, but and then they go back to the way they were and they maybe have the odd fantasy and they maybe like relieve a little bit of tension, if you know what I mean, thinking about something else, but that's as far as it goes. So there's all those types of people, or there's somebody that makes a clear cut choice, has a likes both but kind of prefers one more, and that's fine. The one thing that I would have a slight problem with is people who don't commit to one particular type. So, all well and good, you can fancy both. And say, I'm just using this as an example. Say, for example, you are a guy and you walk a girl down the aisle and you marry her, but you always have these fantasies about guys and you still live out your fantasies, but you're still married to this particular woman and you keep nipping off and she keeps thinking there's something wrong maybe with her or she's not doing something right, and the problem with that is that you're actually living a lie. You either commit to one or the other, or you don't get into a relationship where the other person isn't aware of what your sexual likes are, because that's not fair. Because then what happens is, and with working on the gay scene, and all the girls will back me up on this, you get lots of men out of town. They just sort of think, oh, we'll go to a gay bar and we'll pull somebody and I'll go and have random sex with some fella because that's my fantasy. But the problem is, he then goes back to his wife and then gives the wife something. Or the wife isn't fertile because she's syphilis or she's gonorrhea and she never knew and she got it checked, but she actually got it off her fella and she's only ever had sex with one person. Do you know, that's where I have a problem. I have no issue with it as a whole. As a general rule, my just my personal experience of it would be very kind of like sleazy people, people that I wouldn't particularly want to be in their company. But then, as I said, chatting to a friend today, I suddenly had my eyes opened and realised that there's a much bigger picture. So, no problem whatsoever if you're open and you're maybe in a relationship where they all like a little bit of something else, you know what I mean? Pearl's a swinger! That type of thing is fine. But don't go out with somebody and sleep with other people behind your back, because in my book, that's even worse than having an affair. So it is. So that's where I'm at with it, and the whole bisexuality type thing. So there was a lady who came to one of my workshops, and afterwards she wanted my counsel and she wanted me to chat to her a little bit. And she pulled me aside and she had said that she had been with this guy. She was about 43. She said that she'd been with this guy 5 years. He really loves her. He really looks after her really well. And she really loved him. But he then started to bring other things to the equation, like sexually. And he would want to get dressed up in her clothes, and then he would want to her to dress him up and do her makeup and all that kind of things. She was a wee bit uncomfortable with it, and then he arrived home with a strap on. Now this woman was actually in a very, very vulnerable thing. She wasn't terribly well at the time, and he got her to wear a strap on and do things to him. And it was very, she was a country girl, so this is very out of, it's not even like a city slicker who's like, yeah, whatever. He could turn out and say, wind your neck in, that's not my thing. But anyway, she went ahead with it, and then he would buy her handbags. But bar this one element to him, he was the perfect boyfriend, she said. But he would disappear, and he'd never be allowed to be contacted. He took her to gay bars sometimes, then he would disappear for like an hour, leaving her sitting on her own. So then she said, does this mean that he's gay, or does it mean that he's bisexual, or what is the term, or what is he? And he dresses up in women's clothes. Is he out having sex with men? So he would disappear for hours at a time and not allowed to be called, not allowed to be asked where he was at. So that to me is really shady, and that's what I don't like. There is the grey area. I am very much live and let live, but there are certain grey areas. But it's the same with any sex. Like I as a gay man wouldn't be going out and having affairs and all that type of stuff behind other people's back. I wouldn't want to do that. The person I'm with, I'm perfectly happy with, and I don't look for anybody else. So if you are somebody who struggles with both sex, and you like this one and you like that one and you like that one, have a preference, have a little dalliance with both, find out what you prefer, and then live the fantasy out in your head with the other. But don't date somebody and then flip off with somebody else. That's not really fair. So what you have to remember as well is if you're openly bisexual and your other half knows that you are, just be very aware that you're not perving over the opposite sex, the same sex that you're with, because you might make your partner think that like they're not good enough for you, or you're not with them for the right reasons. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was my little touch. The most controversial thing I think we've done this series is bisexuality. Buy a bit here, sell a bit there, buy a bit here. Just as long as you're always honest and upfront. Find out what you like, who you like, and then stick with it. And enjoy yourself in the meantime. Okay, this has been Lady P. Take care, be good, and bye bye. Mwah.
Looking for girls who are boys, who like boys, who be girls, who do boys, like girls.